Welcome to panel 2, innovative uses of Janeway. I can't speak today. First up, we've got some folks from ULB Darmstadt and INGGRID who are going to come up and give us a presentation.
Yes, hello, I'm really glad to be here. My name is Matthias. I'm a member of the digital publishing team of the University and State Library in Darmstadt, Germany. And
hi, hello everyone in presence and everyone online. My name is Izadora. I work as a researcher at the Technical University of Darmstadt, and I'm the managing editor for the journal INGGRID.
so I will just start with a brief introduction on what we are doing in Darmstadt. So yeah. Oh.
Isn't there a way to mute everyone?
Okay. Sorry.
I think now it's fine.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, so if you don't know where Darmstadt is, don't worry, because all you have to know is it's close to Frankfurt. Yeah, maybe you had a transit at the international airport there. So it's like a meme at our city, and yeah, you will make great friends with this one, especially on soccer match day when both teams meet. But maybe don't do it. Yeah, if you take a closer look on the picture on the upper right, it's the Mathildenhöhe. There's also a pool in the front, but it also has a large open area, perfect for landing. And we brought Janeway here to yeah, our city close to Frankfurt. Yeah, this may be not her very first exploration mission in Germany, but she has a very serious assignment here. So yeah, she persuaded us to switch to her very own system, and there were several factors for this. The most important factor is we had a borderline dangerous software version that was outdated. It was old. I mean, really, really old. And yeah, the other factor is we had a shortage of manpower in our IT department. They didn't have the time to like update and, of course, maintain the whole platform, because I think maintaining takes a lot of time. Yeah, with the advent of the age of digital humanities and the importance of text data mining, XML-based workflows became increasingly important. And yeah, we also wanted to support the older age with their concept. So yeah, in the end, our university, TU Darmstadt, became the very first university in Germany to offer Janeway Press to our researchers if they want to start yeah, scholar-led diamond journals. So let me just briefly take you to our little universe. TU Journals is like the top term for our hosting service. We currently have 4 journals. They can be divided in 2 groups, one with an Microsoft Word workflow and one with a LaTeX workflow. The CIF on the left side is our oldest journal. They were also on OJS. And with the great help of Andy and Mauro, we were able to migrate them from OGS to Janeway. We were also able to keep the old links, which is great because the older publication lists were not updated. So these articles are still findable. And yeah, we have JCLS. They have a conference track, and of course INGGRID with their preprint server and their open peer review system. Yeah, so I will now turn it over to Izadora, so we can talk about INGGRID finally. But yeah, I'm not sure if it will be about these ladies here, so don't get your hopes up. Oh yeah, Mike. Okay, sorry.
Hi, everyone. So we're going to talk about INGGRID. And of course, it's not about these ladies here. We're going to talk about the journal, INGGRID. And it's a journal in a very specific topic. We started a journal to talk about research data management in engineering sciences. And this is the main topic of the discussion in the journal. So all the core points of research data management are discussed and presented in this journal. And we are in the, we work with the FAIR principle, that is findable, accessible, interoperable, reusable. And we also want this journal to be a fair journal. So we are building these blocks to turn INGGRID into a fair journal. And for some of the steps that we take for reaching this goal, we use Janeway as our open source publishing platform, but not only. We also use the service of the preprints to do an open peer review in the preprint server. So for INGGRID, we accept 3 types of submissions. The submissions can come in form of manuscripts, and or they can come in form of software, or they can come in form of data sets. And all these submissions have material that are supplementary from the other 2. So for example, we publish data sets with data descriptors and so, and then we have everything linked. And we have the main website, inggrid.org, that is connected with preprints.inggrid.org. So first, we have the publication of preprints at the preprint domain. And then people submit their preprints to the journal, and we do a formal check, and we assign this publication to a topical editor. And this publication goes to the preprint server. In there, they invite reviewers. And, oh, sorry. Yeah, in there, they invite reviewers, and we start the review of the publications directly in this preprint platform. So all the process is transparent, so everyone can see the reviews that are being done in real time. Like when they are published, they can see the reviews, they can see the editor decision and everything. If you join the preprint platform right now, you can see some preprints published there with the comments and so. And we chose this way in INGGRID for besides transparency. We also want to improve the quality of the reviews. We want to have an open scientific discussion, because then the manuscripts and the data sets and the software that can be published and they can be available before the before they are ready to be published in a journal after the peer review. And we also want to engage the community. Because in this comment session that we have, I will show later, not only the topical editor, the authors and the reviewers can comment, but also the community. So if someone reads a preprint and has something interesting to add about the preprint or so, or wants to make a comment on, they can also join this open peer review in the comment session. Here we have a QR code. If you want to access, there's a funny video on YouTube that explains our open peer review process. So just and after all this process happening in the preprint platform, and the paper is approved, and we send the paper for publication on the website. So this is how it looks, the publication in the preprint platform. We have the title of the preprint, then we have the preprint PDF. The versions, they can be replaced according to the reviews. So we have here, for example, together with metadata, you can see that there are some older versions of the preprint that are published before. And below the metadata, we have the below the metadata, we have the comment and the review section for the preprint. So this is where our open peer review happens. Important to say that right now it's a single blind open peer review, because the reviewers that they can choose to be anonymous or not. We encourage them to not be anonymous, but yeah. All this process in the preprint, as we said, it's connected to the final publication in the INGGRID website. So, for example, this preprint I showed, it was published already in the website, and it comes with a persistent identifier, and it's also linked to the preprint. So when you have the final article published, you can always access how this article was reviewed and the comments it had, the changes it had. So it's everything registered there in the preprint platform for everyone to see. Now I'll hand to Matthias again, but he will talk about the library role in this process.
Thanks. Yeah, let me just talk quickly about our role or what we offer. Of course, it's the first level support and also training for the platform. We also offer for all first timers a graphic design package. So they have a professional look when they start. We're also kind of a communicator between the journals and Janeway itself. And yeah, we also manage the subcontractor silicon chips for XML conversion. And of course, every article gets a DOI identifier with DataCite. And all articles published on our Janeway press will also be secondary published on our local repository TU prints. And they get another DOI there. Yeah, what's also important is visibility for the journals. So we will we actually make the DOAJ application for them. Also the entry for Sherpa Romeo and of course the ISSN at the National German Library. And we also yeah, contribute to the development of the platform. So yeah, what's next for us? Yeah, of course, we want our researchers to start new journals also flip existing ones. But as Caroline already mentioned and discussed earlier, it's a really tough process. We also have one candidate who are currently publishing with Springer. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's a tough one. I think they're very comfortable there. Yeah, but we also have other interested groups like a journal for working papers in the field of linguistic research on environmental discourses, which is cool because they offer a platform for new researchers who have just started their career, so they can use this platform as the starting point for their for publishing their papers. And yeah, we also spread the word about Janeway here in Germany. We already received a lot of requests from other universities or research institutes, and they are very interested about an exchange of experiences. Yeah, also exploring new options on Janeway, like conference tracks. Yeah, Andy's already smiling. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because one of our journals has such a track, so that would be a cool thing. And yeah, there's also another thing, the knowledge graph. Yeah, I can give you the IBM definition. The knowledge graph is a semantic network which is representing real-world entities like events, situations, concepts, and is illustrating them in a graph database. And it's visualized in graph structure. I can show it to you on this slide. This is like a really abstract picture of the graph. It's actually looking like this, and it's just one page out of 5. So yeah, but yeah, I'm not working in the team who is actually developing it. It's like our IT guys. So if you have any questions, I will yeah, give it to them, forward it to them. But yeah, the graph is formulated, and I think the development is going quite well. That's my modest impression. But yeah, the RDF yeah, is already formulated. Yeah, and this is looking great, but it's still like in development. It's not finalized yet. Yeah, so this is the end of our talk. I think Janeway's mission here in Darmstadt was quite successful, and yeah, we let Janeway travel on again, so she can hopefully convince other star systems to join her cause. Yes, thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. And thank you to the organizers for arranging this. It's just very nice to see everybody in person. So we're going to talk about the work we're doing this month to equip Janeway for large STEM journals. We'll introduce ourselves and our journals first a bit, then I will tell you some of our views and values to help understand some of our choices. Then we'll tell you about the choice we made last year to adopt Janeway as our future web journal system, a bit of about our development plans, and finally we'll give you some insights into some key points and challenges that we're going to meet. So I'm Maria Teresa Leo, and he's Matteo Gamboz. We've been working at SISSA Media Lab for over 20 years. I'll tell you a bit more about our company in a while. And currently, I am an editorial officer and project manager for Janeway's development, while Matteo is working as full-time developer of Janeway, together with 3 more people, Marco Mitteri from SISSA Media Lab as well, Jacopo Spalletti and Mark Royensi from Nefila, a company working at developing solid digital solutions with open source technologies and agile methods based in Florence. So our story, if I know I can't go down, I'll use the mouse maybe. All right. Story begins at SISSA many years ago. SISSA is the Institute for Advanced Studies based in Trieste, Italy, one of the 6 excellent institutes in Italy, doing research mainly in physics, mathematics, and neuroscience. So maybe slightly different fields from those of some of you. Back in the 90s, SISSA started revolutioning the publishing sector, at least in our fields, by playing a key role in the birth of what we now know as arXiv, the first open access repository in physics. Not sure if you've ever heard of this because of different fields, but it was very innovative at that time, definitely. And we're still very much connected with arXiv because, for example, our journals have a direct submission from the archives, this repository, into our journals. And we've also always valued very much the open access. Back in 1997, when our first journal was launched, JHEP, the Journal of High Energy Physics, it was the first online-only diamond open access journal with a completely automated workflow from the beginning to the end, theoretically with no human intervention, although this is always something impossible to achieve. And one after the other, we set up other journals, both in physics and in science communication. In physics, we have now the Journal of Cosmology and Astroparticle Physics, Journal of Statistical Mechanics, and the Journal of Instrumentation. Then we have the Journal of Science Communication and Journal of Science Communication Latin America, which, by the way, is bilingual. And JCOM is multilingual in some cases. And then we have the Proceedings of Science. In the slide, you see the year foundation of each journal and the approximate number of yearly submissions that we receive, which add up to almost 10,000 submissions per year. So we're going to develop Janeway also to handle this. So there was a very innovative spirit at the beginning, which reminds me of what I've heard about Lingua and Glossa, the transition between these two journals, because actually the founder of JHEP and JCAP in turn was a top level scientist, Hector Rubinstein, in physics. And he was editor of an Elsevier journal, and there was a big fight against Elsevier those times. So he decided with a group of top quality physicists to leave the journal and set up this new journal in opposition with the previous ones. And most of the community actually passed from one side to the other and gave support to JHEP, and it soon became and still is the reference journal in its field. So this is a bit of our story. The values shared by all of our journals are high scientific quality, technical innovation, and a great attention to their users and specific communities with their specific needs, which must be fulfilled because they're used to specific tools and don't want to give up on them. So this was all at the beginning of the World Wide Web. Okay, and the first journal we developed was in 1996. It was in Perl. It was very basic, but could handle the whole workflow almost. And in 2004, we developed another system in Java. We developed both systems internally, also because at that time there were alternatives. And also this system, the second system, was quite innovative. For example, it had an algorithm designed by us to assign automatically new submissions to the most appropriate editor in charge, thereby saving time, decreasing costs, and assuring a high quality handling of all submissions. The system also had very flexible workflows, granular settings, customizations, and tailor-made features for our users. So developing in-house systems has been always very important for us to provide our users with the best tools for them. and an IT team, which we still have, ready to implement the best suggestions we received from them or new needs that have arisen in the meantime. And user centricity has always been a key factor for us, and it's always been very appreciated by our users, especially when compared to other journals. Currently, we at SISSA Media Lab, because I've talked to you about SISSA, which is the institute we're born within. But after a while, we set up, we moved slightly away from SISSA because of bureaucratical reasons, contracts, all this stuff, And now our name is SISSA Media Lab, an in-house company of SISSA. There are about 30 people of us working there. And approximately in the editorial office, 8 people, 6 people in the IT team, and approximately 10 typesetters. And then there is a part of science popularization, which does like different things. So, so basically last year, after 20 years of using last software, we needed to change because it was really quite old. And after analyzing approximately 25 alternatives, we chose Janeway. And mainly we chose it because it shares our values. It is born within academia, scholarly led, as I read on a slide before. And it has a small and friendly team size. It is open source, and also it has good technology. It's well documented, so it's quite easy to work on it. It's modifiable, expandable, scalable, interoperable. It has this plugin architecture, which is very useful for us. So what uses do we want to make of Janeway? In the long term, certainly we'll do continuous system development because the publishing landscape is continuously changing, and we need to face many challenges, especially related to open science. But now we're focusing on our short-term goals, which are modifying Janeway to make it handle such large journals in hard sciences. So we need to modify the workflows, to introduce extensive automation, granular settings to handle each group of papers and users in the best possible ways. We need to develop tools to assist our users, communication tools, tools to select referees, and so on and so forth, and to handle simultaneously hundreds of submissions, also from the point of view of the editorial office. So this is it. Now, Matteo will give you some insights about the reasons why we can't use Janeway as such, more in details. We won't have the time to go to talk extensively about everything, but maybe if you find something more interesting, we can go into greater details during the Q&A session or at the end of our talk. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Because of that, I like to touch many things, but because of the time, either we talk about things more related to software, but no code, or more not so much related to software. So please let me ask you, hands up for software. Oh, okay, hands up for procedures. Oh, not so many. Okay.
I think software won that.
Okay, software one. So software for now. I think Janeway already has good foundation to avoid snowflake problems, so that snowflakes are systems that are so beautiful that but nobody can touch because nobody knows how they work. My point is that is that there are some rules in software development, like in any other kind of endeavor, that we must kind of beware. Like one of the first people doing science about science was named Derek the Solar Prize. He found a sort of law, and if this law is true, it says that the square root of the number of people working on a certain field does half of the work. So you have 4 developers, 2 square root of 4 is 2, so 2 the half of the work, and that's good, that's great. You have 10 developers, 3, 4 do half of the work, and so if this seems to hold in very many fields. You have 10 100 soccer players, 10 score half of the goals. You have 100 scientists, 10 publish half of the papers. So be wary of the growing, and there also of course I have hidden here and there some quotation from Star Trek Voyager. There's a point about the continuous investment. Sometimes I hear people say that, oh yeah, software, you develop software and then when it's finished, you run it forever. Not my experience. It's like, yeah. So we might end up need our favorite doctor. Like you have your favorite doctor, you have your favorite development team. And then manuscript formats, as you might guess, in our communities, high energy physics and technology and stuff, we have a lot of mathematics. It's not uncommon to see papers where the written part is less than the mathematical parts. So we are partial for those communities to the tech format, LaTeX formats. Of course, LaTeX is not very good, very nice to read, but I come back on this. So what we do is we receive the auto submission in the source file, source LaTeX file, and then the system automatically produces the PDF, stamps things on the watermarks, and so the editors have easy access to the document content. Unfortunately, LaTeX is not made for the machine to read. So our dream is to go from LaTeX directly into XML, but they have orthogonal targets. LaTeX is made to paint, XML is made to impose semantics on things, so it's difficult. And there's also a law of nature about what goes in comes out. And metadata. I have a question about, because I don't know your community maybe. The size of the authors, how many authors a paper has? Like, do you have many papers with 5 authors? More than 10 authors? More than 20 authors? We have 3,000. No, sometimes we have this kind of issues, and so we need to find a way to adapt our workflow in Janeway with this kind of problems. Also, I don't know if you have this experience, inconsistencies between what the author writes in the metadata form and what the author writes in the manuscript for single bind, for single anonymous submissions. And also, I am very interested in how to deal with rich metadata. We receive sometimes abstracts with mathematics, with like 2 lines of formula, and we don't know how to display them in citations. What? So we need to look into that also. And automation is my favorite. We have this automatic assignment of papers. We use keywords to define the scope of our journals. So keywords in our journal are fixed. The author cannot choose the keywords. And we have, for each editor must have his keywords, and these keywords have a weight, and the director decides the weights so that he can, using the editors and the keywords and the weights, cover all the journal. Yeah. And we need to add some knobs and tweaks for this kind of interaction. And maybe later on, we would like also to use these similar solutions to profile reviewers. For instance, since reviewer look on papers and these papers have keywords, so you can say that reviewer have keywords. Same thing for authors, and this open up a lot of interesting possibilities. And of course, the manuscript conversion is very, very. We feel the need. And as Maria Teresa said before, I think I say that they spoil our authors, but it's not true. What we point to is to remove every technical step that separates the author from the science, the editor from the science. So if it is true that if a community is used to a certain way of doing things, we would like to adapt our journals to that community way of doing things. Unfortunately, for a sense, we could say unfortunately, but maybe not. Each community has its own idiosyncrasies, and so we need to look into that. Do we have time? Okay. And there's, I don't know if you remember, sometimes ago in the Discord there was a small discussion about the names. Different cultures have different solutions for names. So I used to think that people have two names, first and last, and it's not true. So also lately we received some, not complaint, but suggestion about how to deal with the Chinese names or Japanese name, because the transliteration of the name in our lingo is not very good sometimes. You get the same sound pointing to different names, so you don't have. Okay. And I think that's it for the software part. It wasn't very much software, so I'm sorry.
Probably got another 5 minutes.
Other 5 minutes? Should I look into the? Do you, I can, yeah, keep along the procedure. Or do you have any questions? I'm going to be very fast here. Profiling, we already said. In the long term, do any of you use MathML for Mathematica? I have a dream to use MathML to profile a paper, to build a description of the paper, so that you can say that that paper talks about, I don't know, algebra, geometry, or something like that. So you can suggest different papers. We are a bit wary about the profiling, I don't know, reviewers, how fast a reviewer is in responding, accepting the client review, how fast is he to provide a report, how often, how accurate is it. There are privacy issues we need to look into, and if you have solutions, please. Online proofing. Often the procedure is during the proof is something like the typesetter downloads the source, modifies the source, uploads the source, the modified paper, and then the author downloads the paper, writes a list of corrections, upload the list of corrections, and this cycle continues. We would like to be able to do some kind of collaborative editing of the paper, but we are wary about do any of you use what was the name, track changes in Word document? I don't know. Sometimes it's difficult for me to when I look into the changes, to verify that the change is illicit. Is sometimes, especially for mathematical pieces, if it's a illicit correction or is that some kind of fraud. And we also have the problem that you can track changes with docx files, but with TeX you can also do, of course, but with different tools. So we should try to integrate different tools for different manuscript formats. And we have here I'm only going to say that sometimes we feel there's a sort of shortage of reviewer, difficult to motivate, credit, also thank these people for the work that they do. And we try to on some of our journals, which is kind of unusual in our community, we pay a symbolic token to the reviewers, and it was very interesting to see the feedbacks. We thought that they would be happy, but some said that it wasn't correct. The reviewer has a moral duty to do that. The scientist has a moral duty to do the reviewer, or some say that it's already in the job description from the, I don't know, university that they do review. And so it was not many, but it was very interesting to see the feedbacks. And there are the fully open peer review. There's a journal named SciPost that has a very strange business model, which, however, does a really open peer review. They publish everything. If the reviewer is agrees, if the author agrees, they publish everything. So you can see rejected paper, you can see the review of the paper, because sometimes the reviewer does a so wonderful job that it deserves to be credited. It deserves to receive a DOI, and it deserves to be considered like a publication. Sometimes we, I don't know, do many of you publish translations? Yeah. Where do you point the DOI to? Two DOIs. Okay. We have sometimes discussion about this because, I don't know, the contents of the document is the same. It's just translating to lingo. But yeah, it's debatable. A component UI.
Yes, you can add UI to the link.
How much time do I have? Okay.
Yeah, one option is component DOIs. So those are DOIs that are sort of sub-level. So you can have a top-level DOI for the primary version of the article, and then a component DOI for translations.
Okay. Do you pay both registrations?
Yes. Of course, no free DOIs for anyone.
Who wanted to do the conference tracking? You wanted to do conference tracking. There's a debate on COP about the different nature of what's a journal article and what's a proceedings. Are they similar? Yes. Are they different? Yes. How do we treat them? And should they count as different works if the same work has been presented to different conferences? Should the author be able to cite in his bibliography list 2 works or only one? We are looking we are following this debate because it's interesting. Closing up, we do want to interact with other services, but we are wary. We know that we must be wary of the limitations of this interaction. For instance, in ORCID, you can have authenticated ORCIDs or not authenticated ORCIDs, and sometimes we need to have to publish the ORCID only if it's authenticated. So we must interact with them. But also, it's nice to know that a person can register to ORCIDs if they, I don't know why, want to do this kind of bad thing. And we in the 20-something other systems that we look into, we noticed some general issue about when the system is spread about different services, you have issues at the interaction at the interfaces. So if you do submission with one system and review with another and production with another, you risk losing the history of the paper. You risk losing the accounts of the roles involved. And so we know that we want to look into that, but be careful. Okay, thank you.